Hello everyone. Welcome to this video of IPMAT Indore 2023 Quantitative Ability Multiple Choice Questions section. This is Durga Sankar. I am the National Chief Mentor with IMS Learning Resources, and I'll take you through these video solutions for all the questions in this particular section. So let's go ahead one after the other. Now, the very first question is an interesting one, because it combines the concepts of logarithms and trigonometry. Now, it is given that log sin x base cos x plus log cos x base sin x is equal to 2, and we are to find the value of x. Now, for this question, let us look at the conventional method. Now, log sin x base cos x can be written as log of sin x by log of cos x plus log cos x base sin x can be written as log cos x by log sin x, and this is equal to 2. Now, the smarter way would be that a student who can observe a particular property here will be able to identify the answer in just one more step. What is it? Now, if I consider log sin x by cos x as, let's say, k, then log cos x by sin x will be of the form 1 by k. Now, if k is a non-negative value and k plus 1 by k is equal to 2, it is clear that k is equal to 1 by k, where individually each of them will be equal to 1. Now, thereby, I can say log sin x base cos x is equal to 1. So, by the property of logarithms, or the definition of logarithms, I can say sin x is equal to cos x. And all of us know that sin and cos will be equal in value and sign when x is equal to 45 degrees, or rather pi by 4. Now, substituting n is equal to 1, or even if not substituting the value of n, you can see that the value of x will be pi by 4 for any value of n from the first option. Now, if you are unsure of that, you can substitute n is equal to 1, 2, 3, and see that in option A, every time it gives you a value that is equivalent to pi by 4. Hence, the right answer is option A. Now, in case if the student hasn't got the idea of writing this entire value as k plus 1 by k is equal to 2, then let me also show you the conventional method in which you can solve this question. So, I will write this as k plus 1 by k is equal to 1, which helps me form a quadratic equation. So, k square plus 1 by k is equal to 2. Thereby, k square minus 2k plus 1 is equal to 0, or k minus 1 whole square is equal to 0, which gives you the value of k equal to 1. Again, similar to what we have done earlier, now when k is equal to 1, we get log sin x base cos x is equal to 1, and hence sin x is equal to cos x, where the value of x that satisfies always is pi by 4. Now let's see the second question. We need to find the set of all real values of x satisfying the given inequality. Now let me show you both the conventional method as well as a smart cut, which will help you identify the answer faster. Now, when I multiply the entire equation or inequality with x minus 1 into 2x plus 1 whole cube, now we get x square into x plus 1 into x minus 1 into 2x plus 1 whole cube divided by x minus 1 whole square into 2x plus 1 whole power 6 greater than 0. Now, irrespective of the value of x, the denominator x minus 1 whole square into 2x plus 1 whole power 6 will always be positive. So if I want the inequality to be positive, then the numerator must definitely be positive. So x square into x minus 1 into x plus 1 into 2x plus 1 whole cube is greater than 0. Now let us look at all the critical points for x. Critical points are nothing but the roots of this expression. So the value of x for which the expression becomes 0, because that is where essentially the graph intersects the x-axis. Now, if I draw a number line to plot these values, so of course, x is equal to 0 is one value, x is equal to 1, x is equal to minus 1, and x is equal to minus 1 by. Let us understand how this expression behaves in each of these intervals. Now, the behavior is in terms of whether its value will be positive or negative. If I substitute a value less than minus 1, let us say if I substitute x is equal to minus 2, then the entire expression becomes negative. If I substitute a value between minus 1 and minus 1 by 2, say something like minus 0.75. Now, if x is equal to minus 0.75, I don't have to calculate how much is the expression, but I only want to know whether it is positive or negative. So if you substitute x is equal to minus 0.75, you can clearly see that the expression becomes positive. Now substitute a value between minus 1 by 2 and 0. So let's say a minus 0.25, which makes the expression negative. If you substitute a value between 0 and 1, let's say a 0.5, then also the expression remains negative. And if I substitute a value greater than 1, let's say x is equal to 2, undoubtedly the expression becomes positive. Now, since I want my expression to be greater than 0, from what we have calculated now, I can easily determine that for the inequality to be true, x must lie between minus 1 comma minus 1 by 2 union 1 comma infinity. Hence, answer option B. However, this is slightly time consuming. If possible, since there are answer options, we can try and figure out the right answer quickly. Now, how is it possible? Let's verify. Now, when I look at the expression, since I want the expression to be greater than 0, meaning I want it to be positive, definitely the value of x cannot be equal to 0, cannot be equal to minus 1, because x equal to 0 and x equal to minus 1 will make the entire expression 0. At the same time, for the expression to be valid, the denominator cannot be 0, which means x cannot be 1 and x cannot be minus 1 by 2. Now, the moment I say x cannot be equal to 1, in the first option, the range that has 0 to plus infinity doesn't satisfy, because 1 is not a possible value for x. So ruled out. Also, I can easily exclude option C, because minus 1 comma 0 includes x is equal to minus 1 by 2, which is not a possible answer. Now I am left with option B and D. How do I eliminate one of them? Now let me substitute a value for x and see which of these two intervals satisfy. For example, if I take x is equal to minus 2, now I would take a value of x, which is satisfied by only one of these inequalities, so that if it satisfies, becomes easy for me to eliminate one of the wrong answers. Now, if I take x is equal to -2, clearly the expression is negative. So x should not include -2. Thereby, option D is eliminated, leaving B only to be the option that's available, which has to be the right answer. Now let's see this question. Now I'm sure most of the students in the exam wouldn't have attempted this question the moment they saw that it is from the topic of matrices. As I always keep saying, the difficulty level of the question is not determined solely by the topic or by the length of it. And this question is a classic example of that. Though it's a problem of matrices, let me show you how easily we can find the answer, provided we have a sound knowledge of the fundamentals of the topic. Let's see what the question at hand is. Now we have A as a 2 by 2 matrix given, and it is mentioned that determinant of A cube minus 3A square minus 5A is equal to 0. Then we want to know one of the values of A can be which one from the answer options. Now, determinant of A cube minus 3A square minus 5A equal to 0. Now, if I take out A common, I can write this as determinant of A into determinant of A square minus 3A minus 5 equal to 0. Now, by the standard logic of product of two numbers is 0, it means either of them is 0. So which means either determinant of A is 0 or determinant of A square minus 3A minus 5 equal to 0. Let's verify for the first one. When will determinant of A be 0? So determinant 1, 2, 3A is equal to 0. So cross multiply 1 into A minus 3 into 2 is equal to 0, which means A is equal to 6. So for one value of A equal to 6, the given equation will be true. And we are fortunate to have 6 in the answer options, hence option D. In case if we do not have option D, then we resort to the second condition, the determinant of A square minus 3A minus 5 equal to 0. And from there, we try to find the suitable values for small a. Now let's see the question number 4. It's a beautiful question that combines the concept of mensuration and profit loss. Now, if we are familiar with the concepts of these two topics, then definitely this question wouldn't be difficult to solve. Now let us see what is the data we have at hand. A goldsmith bought a large golden ball at 1 lakh or 10 lakh rupees, melted it to make certain number of solid spherical beads such that the radius of each bead was 1/5 of the radius of the original ball. Now we know, we have seen in multiple questions in mensuration that when a large ball is melted into smaller spherical shaped balls, what remains unchanged is the volume. So let's use that property. Now, for the big ball and the smaller spherical shaped beads, let me assume the radius of the ball is 5r, so that the radius of each of the spherical shaped bead is r. Now, the volume of the ball, now volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cube, which must be equal to the number of beads, let us say, is equal to n into volume of each bead, which is again 4/3 pi r cube Now 4 by 3 into pi gets cancelled out easily. And we get 125 r cube is equal to n into r cube. Thereby, the number of small spherical shaped beads we have is 125. Now, with this, the concept of mensuration is done. From here on, we need to apply the concept of profit loss. Now he says the goldsmith sold all the beads at 20% discount and still was able to make a profit of 20%. Then the listed price of each golden bead in INR was. Now we need to calculate the listed price, which is the other name for market price. In order to do so, I need to know the discount, selling price, profit, cost price. So let's start with the cost price. Now the original ball was bought for 10 lakhs and now its value is same for 125 small spherical shaped beads. So value, or rather I would say cost price of each bead is equal to 10 lakhs divided by 125, which will give you 8,000. Now, it seems in the transaction, he got a profit of 20%. So which means the selling price is equal to 120% of cost price. So which is 120% of 8,000. Now that gives you 9,600. But when was it sold for 9,600? After giving a discount of 20%. So if I assume the market price to be M, I have given a 20% discount on that, which means I am selling it for 80%. So 80% of the market price is equal to selling price, which indeed is equal to 9,600. So 4 by 5 of the market price is 9,600, which helps us calculate the market price to be equal to 12,000. Hence, answer option C. Agreed that the problem will take a bit of time to solve. But if you observe, once you solve this, you will realize that this question is not as difficult as you have thought of it when you read the question. So it all depends on how well you understand the concepts involved, clearly separate them, and apply one after the other to figure out the right answer. Now let's look at question number 5. There's a triangle ABC. D is the midpoint of BC, meaning AD is the median and AM is the altitude. In geometry, half the job is drawing the picture correctly. So let us use the data to draw the figure. There is a triangle ABC. A, B, C. AM is the altitude, which means the perpendicular line drawn from a vertex to the opposite side. D is the midpoint of BC. So AD becomes the median. Now length of AB, BC and CA are in the ratio 2:4:3. Then we are to find the ratio of lengths of BM and AD. Okay, let us start with BM. Now suppose if I consider the length of AB to be 2 units, then the length of BC will be 4 units, and then the length of AC will be 3 units because the sides are in the ratio 2:4:3. Now, if I consider BM to be X, then the value of MC will be 4 minus X. Now, since AM is perpendicular to BC, I would take two triangles, triangle AMB and triangle AMC. So, in triangle AMB and triangle AMC, applying Pythagoras, I can say AM square is equal to AB square, that is 2 square minus BM square, which is x square. And in triangle AMC, AM square is equal to the hypotenuse AC square, that is 3C square, minus 4 minus x whole square. So from here, I get 4 minus x square is equal to 9 minus x square plus 8x minus 60. Now minus x square gets cancelled out. So I get 8x is equal to 11. Thereby x is equal to 11 by 8. Hence the value of AM is 11 by 8. I need to find the ratio of lengths of AM, BM and DC. So BM is equal to 11 by 8. So let me calculate the value of AD. Now AD is the median. Do we know of any property that talks about the length of the median? Yes, popularly called as Apollonius theorem. So what does Apollonius theorem say? It says in triangle ABC, sum of squares of two adjacent sides, that is AB square plus AC square, is equal to 2 into square of the median plus square of half the opposite side. Now, since D is the midpoint, either I can take BD or DC. Now we know AB is 2. So 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9, which is equal to 2 into AD square plus DC is 2. So 2 square is 4. So we get AD square is equal to 4 plus 9, 13 by 2 minus 4, which is 5 by 2. Hence, AD is equal to square root of 5 by 2. So once we have the length of BM and AD, it's only about finding the ratio. So the ratio will be 11 by 8 is to 5 by 2. And if we multiply by 8 throughout, we get 11 is to 4 root 10. Hence, answer option A. Again, this is also a question that might take a bit of time, but if you observe closely, all that you need to know to be able to answer this question is the standard or the fundamental concepts of geometry involving altitude and medians. Now let's see question number 6. A helicopter flies along the sides of a square field of side length 100 kilometers. So let's assume this is a square field. The length of each side is 100 kilometers. Now helicopter flies along these 4 sides. The first side is covered at a speed of 100 km/h. The second side is covered at a speed that is increased by 100 km/h, so which means 200 km/h. The third side is covered with a speed that is 100 more than the previous, so 300 km/h. And the fourth side with a speed of 400 km/h. Now, if you observe closely, you will see that this is a problem of average speed. Now, average speed, by definition, we know is nothing but total distance by total time taken. Now total distance is 4 sides of the square, that is 400, by total time taken. We know time is distance by speed. So the time taken to cover the first side is 100 by 100. Second side, 100 by 200. Third side, 100 by 300. And fourth side is 100 by 400. Now, if hundreds are cancelled out throughout, we get 4 by 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 4. Now we know the LCM of all the fractions in the denominator is equal to 12. So it becomes 400 into 12 by 25, 25 ones, 25 sixteens. So 16 into 12, which is equal to 192 kilometer per hour. Answer option B. Again, time, speed and distance is a topic which most of the students find difficult and time consuming to answer. But if you see, this question is one of those straightforward questions based on a very simple concept of average speed. Hence, it's very important that you judge the difficulty level of the question and decide whether to attempt it or not by how it looks and not by the topic it belongs to, but actually how difficult the question is. Let's look at this question. Now we have A1, A2, A3 as 3 distinct real numbers in geometric progression, and the given 2 equations have a common root. Then we need to find out which of the answer options are necessarily true. Now, let me consider certain values for A1, A2, A3 so that solving the question becomes easier. Now, 3 numbers in geometric progression. So let me consider A1, A2, A3 as 1, 2, and 4. Right? Now, substituting these values in the first equation, the equation becomes x square plus 2 into 2x plus 4 equal to 0, or x square plus 4x plus 4 is equal to 0, which can be written of the form x plus 2 whole square is equal to 0. Thereby, I get that this is a quadratic equation which has one root repeated twice, which is minus 2. Now, if the given 2 equations have a common root, and since the first equation has only one root, it means this one has to be the common root for both equations. So substituting x is equal to minus 2 in the second equation, we get b1 into minus 2 whole square plus 2 into b2 into minus 2 plus b3 is equal to 0. Now, I will be able to write it as 4b1 plus b3 is equal to 4b2. When you see the answer options, all of them are in terms of either b1, b2, b3 alone, or b1 by a1, b2 by a2, and b3 by a3. Now, when you see the given equation, 4b1 plus b3 is equal to 4b2, it is very clear that b1, b2, b3 are neither in arithmetic progression nor in geometric progression. So option A and option D are eliminated. Now, since both option B and C talk about b1 by a1, b2 by a2, b3 by a3, let me try to modify the equation that we have now in a similar format. So I can write this as, if I divide by 4 throughout, I get b1 plus B3 by 4 is equal to B2. Now, in order to be able to compare it with B1 by A1, B2 by A2, and B3 by A3, I will write this as B1 by 1 plus B3 by 4 is equal to 2 into B2 by 2. Now, if you observe, we know A1, A2, A3 are 1, 2, and 4. Thereby, this equation can finally be written as B1 by A1 plus B3 by A3 is equal to 2 into B1 by B2 by A2, which sort of makes us understand that B1 by A1, B2 by A2, and B3 by A3 are in arithmetic progression. Hence, answer option C. Question number 8. Now, this is one of those questions that seem to be difficult, but in actual, it's quite simple. Let us see what is the information we have in hand. There's a polynomial p of x. And when I divide this by x minus 1, the remainder is 2. And if I divide the same polynomial p of x by x minus 2, the remainder is 1. Meaning, if I substitute x equal to 1 in p of x, that is p of 1, the remainder must be 2. And if I substitute x is equal to 2 in p of x, that is p of 2, should leave a remainder of 1. Now let us see which answer option satisfies these two conditions. So substituting x equal to 1, I need to get a remainder of 2, and substituting x is equal to 2, I need to get a remainder of 1, which is satisfied only by option D. Hence, the remainder when p of x is divided by x minus 1 into x minus 2 will have to be 3 minus x. Let's look at this question number 9. Now we have A, B, C, real numbers greater than 1. N is a positive real number not equal to 1. And if log A base 2 base n is equal to 1, and so on and so forth, which of the following is true? Now these type of questions are better answered by substituting certain values for n and eliminate the answer options that do not satisfy, or identify the option that satisfies for different values of n. Suppose if I take, normally I would have taken n as 1, but in the question it's mentioned explicitly that n is a positive real number not equal to 1. So if I take n is equal to 2, then the first expression, log A base 2 is equal to 1. So by definition of logarithm, I can say log A base 2 is equal to 2. By applying the same definition, I get A is equal to 2 square, 4. Similarly, log of log B base 2 base n is equal to 2, which means log B base 2 is equal to 2 square, 4, and B is equal to 2 power 4, 60. The third one, log of log C base 2 base n is equal to 3, which gives log C base 2 to be equal to 2 cube, that is 8, and C is 2 power 8, which is 256. Now, let us substitute the values of n, a, b, c in the answer options and eliminate the ones that do not satisfy. Now, clearly, a plus b is not equal to c. Now a power n plus b power n is equal to c power n. Now clearly 4 square plus 16 square is not equal to 256 square. Option C, b minus a whole power n, which means 16 minus 4 whole power 2, and c minus b, that is 256 minus 16. Now 16 minus 4 is 12. 12 square is 144, and 256 minus 16 is 240. Both are not equal. So the moment we eliminate 3 answer choices, obviously the remaining one will be the correct choice. But just to be on a safe side, you can verify whether the expression in the left out option holds true or not. Now a power n, which is 2 square, plus b, that is 16 whole square, is equal to a into c. Now a is equal to 4 into c is 256. Now if I apply a square root on both sides, I get 2 square plus 14, or 2 square plus 16. 4 square, I'm sorry, it's 4 square. So 16 plus 16 is 32, is equal to square root of 4 into 256. That is 2 into 16, which is equal to 30. Hence, with confidence, we can mark option D as the right answer. Let's solve this question. It seems the harmonic mean of the roots of the given quadratic equation is equal to 4. Then we need to find the value of b. Now, comparing the given equation with a quadratic equation, I can say the value of a is equal to 5 plus root 2. The value of b is minus b, and the value of c is 8 plus 2 root 5. Now, if alpha, beta are the roots of the equation, then the harmonic mean of the roots will be 2 alpha beta by alpha plus beta, and it seems is equal to 4. Now 2 1s, 2 2s. Alpha into beta, product of the roots, is c by a. So which will be 8 plus 2 root 5 divided by 5 plus root 2 whole divided by alpha plus beta. Sum of the roots is minus b by a, that is minus of minus b whole divided by a, which is 5 plus root 2, must be equal to 2. Now 5 plus root 2 and 5 plus root 2 gets cancelled out. So we get 8 plus 2 root 5 by b is equal to 2, or b is equal to 8 plus 2 root 5 by 2. And if I cancel 2 throughout in numerator and denominator, we get the value of b as 4 plus root 5, which is answer option B. Definitely an easy question, and someone can answer provided they have the understanding and knowledge of how to identify a harmonic mean of two given numbers. And the moment they see alpha beta and alpha plus beta, we need to substitute the value of product of the roots and sum of the roots. Now let's see this question at hand. If the difference between compound and simple interest for a certain amount of money invested for 3 years at an annual interest rate of 10% is 527, then we are to find the amount invested, which is nothing but principal. Now, if we apply the formula of compound interest and simple interest and equate the difference to 527, we might be able to get the answer, but the calculation is quite cumbersome. So in such situations, it would be helpful if we assume a principal and calculate the difference between SI and CI and accordingly compare it with the difference given in the given question. Let me explain by what I mean so. Suppose if I consider the principal to be 1,000 rupees, rate of interest is 10% and time period is 3 years. Now, simple interest, compound interest for the first year, for the second year, for the third year, and of course the total. Now we know simple interest is same for every year, which will be on the principal, that is 10% of 1,000, which is 100. So the total simple interest becomes 300. When it comes to compound interest, interest is calculated on principal and on interest generated till then. So compound interest for the first year is 10% of principal, that is 100. For the second year, it is 10% of the principal, 100, plus 10% of the first year's interest. So 10% of 100, which is 10. For the third year, the compound interest is 100 rupees, which is on principal, plus interest on first year, that is 10 rupees, plus interest on second year, which is 11 rupees. Hence, the total compound interest for all the 3 years is 331. And if you observe, the difference between SI and CI is 31 rupees. Let me show you how we can use this by the property of comparison to find the principal in the question. So, if the difference is 31 rupees, the principal is 1,000. If the difference is 527, how much will be the principal? Which is 527 by 31 into 1,000. So which is equal to 17,000. Answer option B. Now this question also has a small risk factor involved. Even after getting the answer as 17,000, you need to be careful because option B and option C have just a difference of 0, but start with 17. So in the rush, there is a good chance that you might mark option C, which is not the right answer. Now let's see this question. The minimum number of times a fair coin must be tossed so that the probability of getting at least one head exceeds 0.8 is. Now, what I want is probability of getting at least one head, which, if you observe carefully, can be written as 1 minus probability of getting all coin tosses showing tails. I repeat, when I toss a coin certain number of times, the probability of getting at least one head is nothing but 1 minus probability that every time it shows a tail. And I want this to be greater than 0.8. Suppose if the coin is tossed n times, then the probability that every time it shows a tail is 1 by 2 whole power n. Now, probability of a tail showing up when a coin is tossed once is 1 by 2. So if I toss a coin n times and every time I want it to show a tail, then the probability is going to be 1 by 2 whole power n, which must be greater than 0.8. So from here, I can say minus 1 by 2 whole power n must be greater than minus 0.2, multiplying with a minus 1 throughout. Of course, the inequality sign flips, and I will write 1 by 2 as 0.5 whole power n must be less than 0.2. Now substituting n is equal to 1, 0.5 is not less than 0.2, n is equal to 2, 0.5 whole square, 0.25 is not less than 2, and n is equal to 3, 0.5 whole cube is 0.125 is less than 0. Hence, the minimum value of n that satisfies the given condition is 3. Hence, answer option C. Now, let's see the question number 13. Now, one of the easiest questions in terms of the concept involved, it's based on the basic concept of units digit of a number raised to a power. So let us see how to answer this question. P is a positive integer, which means a natural number. And it seems the units digit of P cube is 4. Now, since P cube ends with 4, it means P cube is an even number. Now, if P cube is even, we know that P must also be an even number. So, P must end with either 0 or 2 or 4 or 6 or 8. But the problem is, if P is ending with 0, then P cube will also end with 0, but P cube is ending with 4. So P cannot end with 0. If P is ending with 2, then P cube will end with 8. So not. If P is ending with 4, P cube will end with 4. If P is ending with 6, P cube will end with 6. And if P is ending with 8, P cube will end with 2. So from here, I can confidently determine that P is a number that ends with 4. Hence, P plus 3 will be a number that ends with 7. And if a number is ending with 7, then the cube of that number will end with 7 cube, that is 343. So the last digit is 3. Hence, the right answer is option A. Let's see the question number 14. If a 3-digit number is chosen at random, what is the probability that it is divisible neither by 3 nor by 4? Now, how many 3-digit numbers are there? Starting from 100 till 999, we have 900 3-digit numbers. Out of these, I want to know how many are divisible neither by 3 nor by 4. So which means I need to find the number of 3-digit numbers that are divisible by 3 or 4 and remove them from the total. Now, multiples of 3. Multiples of 3 from 100 to 900. Now, the largest multiple, 100 to 999. So 999 is the largest 3-digit multiple of 3. And the smallest 3-digit multiple of 3 is 102. So the number of 3-digit multiples of 3 we have is 999 minus 102 by 3 plus 1. Now, which is equal to 300. Similarly, if we want to find multiples of 4 from 100 to 999, the largest 3-digit multiple of 4 is 996. The smallest 3-digit multiple of 4 is 100. So the total number of multiples of 4 we will have is 996 minus 100 by 4 plus 1, which is equal to 225. Now we need to find how many numbers are both multiples of 3 and 4. Now multiples of 3 and 4, that is multiples of 12 from 100 to 999 is, the largest multiple of 12 is 996 minus the smallest multiple of 12 is 108 divided by 12 plus 1, which is equal to 75. Hence, 3-digit numbers which are multiples of either 3 or 4 is equal to 300 plus 225 minus 75, which is equal to 450. So out of 900 numbers, if 450 numbers are either divisible by 3 or divisible by 4, then the remaining 450 numbers are neither divisible by 3 nor by 4. So hence the required probability is 450 by 900, which is equal to 1 by 2. Answer option D. Now let's look at question number 15. This probably I would consider as one of the toughest questions in IPMAT Indore Quant section. So let us see how to answer this. Now, let x in square brackets denote the greatest integer not exceeding x, which is the standard definition of greater integer function, which is defined as greatest integer less than or equal to x. And in this expression, we have x within flower brackets that is equal to x minus greater integer x. So x minus greater integer x, which is x in flower brackets, let us define it as fractional x. Now, if you understand the concept of greater integer function, you know that x minus greater integer x, which is equal to the fractional value of x, starts from 0 and is less than 1. X minus greater integer x will be either 0 or a value less than 1. Now, keeping this in mind, let us look at the expression given. Also, from this, I can write x as greater integer x plus fractional x. It is given that 2 into greater integer x is equal to x plus n into fractional x. Now, if I substitute x as greater integer x plus fractional x plus n into fractional x. Now, if I bring the greater integer x to the left side, so 2 into greater integer x minus a greater integer x becomes greater integer x alone. And on the right side, if I take fractional x common, I get n plus 1 into fractional x. Now, we are to find the sum of all possible values of x for different values of n, where n is a natural number. So let us see what are the different values of x we will get for different values of n. Now, since n is a natural number, let me start by considering n is equal to 1. Then the greater integer x becomes equal to now 2 into fractional x. Now, this is a very important point to understand. Greater integer x is always an integer. So, if 2 into fractional x must be an integer, it is possible only when fractional x is equal to 1 by 2. So that 2 into 1 by 2 will result in an integer. And remember, the fractional x always lie between 0 to 1. Hence, the value between 0 to 1 that will make 2 into fractional x as an integer is only 1 by 2. So from here, I determine that fractional x is equal to 1 by 2. Hence, the value of x that is possible here, we know x is nothing but greater integer x plus fractional x, and greater integer x is 2 into fractional x plus fractional x, that is 3 into fractional x, which is 3 into 1 by 2, 3 by 2. Now, when I substitute n is equal to 1, I will get 3 by 2 in option C, and option D is also given as 3 by 2, which means I am able to eliminate only 2 options. So let me take one more value of n and see if it helps me to eliminate one of the remaining answer choices. Now, if I take n is equal to 2, we get integral x is equal to 2 plus 1, 3 into fractional x. Now, for 3 into fractional x to be an integer, fractional x must be such that 3 into fractional x must be an integer. So the value of fraction x must be equal to 1 by 3 or 2 by 3. Because fractional x again lies between 0 and 1. Now, if I look at the possible values of x, now x is equal to greater integer x plus fractional x, which will be 4 into fractional x, which is equal to 4 into 1 by 3 or 4 into 2 by 3, which is equal to 4 by 3 or 8 by 3. So sum of all possible values of x is 4 by 3 plus 8 by 3, that is equal to 12 by 3, 4. Now, if I substitute n is equal to 2 in answer option C, we get 2 into 4 by 2, which is equal to 4. Whereas option D does not say 4. Hence, option D is ruled out and answer option C is the right answer. So ideally, this is a question which you should have skipped in the exam, or you should skip in case you come across such a question in the exam, because of the nature of the question and also the fact that it will consume good amount of time. Now let's look at this 16th question. There's an 8 by 8 chessboard. The number of ways 8 rooks can be placed on the board such that no 2 rooks are in the same row and no 2 are in the same column is. Meaning, now if I take a chessboard of 8 by 8, now, of course, this is only for your understanding. In the exam, I don't think you should draw the chessboard. You should visualize. Now, I have 8 rooks and I want to arrange them on this board in 8 places such that no 2 rooks are in the same row and no 2 rooks are in the same column. Meaning, suppose if I put the first rook somewhere here, then this entire column and this entire row cannot be used again for any other rook. Similarly, if I put, let's say, the second rook here, then this particular column and this particular row cannot be used for any other rooks. So this is what the logic is, or the condition is. Now, how do we arrange these rooks? First thing first, the first rook, rook 1, can be arranged in 8 ways in any of the 8 positions in a particular row or column. Now, once I put the first rook in a place, then that particular row and column are not available anymore, which means for the second rook, I can put it in any of the remaining 7 places, row wise or column wise. By same logic, rook 3 can be arranged in any of the remaining 6 places in 6 ways, so on. And rook 8 can be arranged in only the last place available, that is one way. Hence, the number of ways in which we can arrange these 8 rooks is 8 into 7 into 6 into so on till 1, which is short form for 8 factorial. Hence, answer option B. Now, question number 17 is indeed a frequently seen type of question. We need to find the probability that a randomly chosen positive divisor, which is nothing but, in simple terms, a factor of 10 power 2023, is an integer multiple of 10 power 2001. So first of all, let us calculate how many factors does 10 power 2023 have. So 10 power 2023 can be prime factorized as 2 power 2023 into 5 power 2023. Hence, total number of factors is equal to 2024 into 2024, that is 2024 square. Now, I want to know out of these factors, how many are integer multiples of 10 power 2001. Now, 10 power 2023 can be written as 10 power 22 into 10 power 2001. So whatever factors I take for 10 power 22 here will definitely be an integer multiple of 10 power 2001. So number of factors for 10 power 22 is equal to, now 10 power 22 can be written as 2 power 22 into 5 power 22. Hence, the number of factors will become 23 square. So the probability that is being asked will be 23 square by 2024 whole square. So hence, the total number of factors for 10 power 2023 is 2024 square, out of which the number of factors which are integer multiples of 10 power 2001 is 23 square. Hence, the required probability is 23 square by 2024 whole square. Answer option D. Now let's see how we answer this question. It is given that A plus B by B plus C is equal to C plus D by D minus A. Which of the following statements is always true? Now, usually in such cases, we either go by the method of substitution or we simplify the expression. Now, suppose if I simplify the expression here, I will use the rule of componendo and dividendo. Now, what is componendo and dividendo? It says if P by Q is equal to R by S, then P plus Q by P minus Q must be equal to R plus S by R minus S. This is the rule of componendo and dividendo. By applying this, I get A plus B plus C divided by A plus B minus B plus C is equal to C plus D minus plus D plus A whole divided by C plus D minus D plus A. Upon simplifying, I get A plus 2B plus C whole divided by A minus C is equal to C plus 2D plus A whole divided by C minus A. Now C minus A can be written as minus of A minus C. So if I cancel out, then we get A plus 2B plus C is equal to minus of C plus 2D plus A. So rearranging them, we get 2A plus 2B plus 2C plus 2D is equal to 0, from where I can derive A plus B plus C plus D is equal to 0. Hence, answer option B. Now let's look at this 19th question. A very interesting one. Seems to be, involving a lot of possibilities, and also gets difficult to identify the right path in order to count all those possibilities easily. But let me show you the thought process that we need to have to be able to answer these questions in a specific order. A rabbit is sitting at the base of the staircase, which has 10 steps. It proceeds to the top by climbing either 1 step at a time or 2 steps at a time. The number of ways it can reach the top is. Now, suppose if I am the rabbit, I want to climb 10 steps, and every time I move, I can make it as a single step or a double step. So let me try to understand how many single and double steps are required for me to go to the top. How many single steps and how many double steps, and the number of ways that I can do that. Now, suppose if I want to move only in single steps, so all 10 steps I take at the rate of 1 step at a time. So I can do that only in one way. Now, suppose I want to take 1 double step, which means I am covering 2 steps here. The remaining 8, I would like to take single steps, which means totally I am moving 9 times, out of which 1 time it's a double step, 8 times it's a single step. So this double step that I am making once, it can be made at the beginning or somewhere in between or at the end. So out of these 9 times I am moving, the double step can be anywhere. So the number of ways in which I can make a double step in 9 times is 9C1 ways, which is equal to 9. Now suppose I make a double step twice. Then the remaining 6 steps, suppose I am moving single steps. So which means I am moving a total of 6 plus 2, 8 times. Out of these 8 movements, 2 times it's double step and 6 times it is single step. But which 2 steps should be the double ones? It can be any of these 8 movements. So number of ways of selecting 2 movements from 8 is 8C2, which is equal to 8 into 7 by 2, 28. Now suppose if I am making 3 movements as double steps, so 3 into 2, 6. The remaining 4 steps are single movements. So totally, I am moving 7 times, out of which 3 times it is double steps and 4 times it is single step. The number of ways in which I can make 3 double movements out of 7 is 7C3, which is equal to now 7 into 6 into 5 by 3 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, which is equal to 35. If I make 4 movements as double steps, 4 into 2, 8 steps are covered. The remaining 2 will be single steps. So I make a total of 2 plus 4, 6 movements, out of which I want 4 movements to be double. Now, which 4 It can be any 4. So 6C4, which is same as 6C2 because NCR is equal to NCN minus R. Now 6C2 is nothing but 15. And lastly, if I make 5 double steps, now 5 into 2, 10, which means I can't make any single movements. So if I am making 5 movements, all of them double steps, it can be done only in one way. Hence, the total number of ways in which I can reach the top is 1 plus 9 plus 28 plus 35 plus 15 plus 1. Now 35 plus 15 is 50. 1 plus 9 is 10. So 50 plus 10, 60. 60 plus 28, 88 plus 1, 89. Answer option A. Question number 20. Now this format of question is something that is very frequently seen in various entrance exams. We are given the constant value of cos alpha plus cos beta, and we are to find the maximum value of sin alpha minus sin beta. Now, let me say that cos alpha plus cos beta is given as 1, and I will assume sin alpha minus sin beta to be equal to some k. Now, if I square and add these two, then it is nothing but cos alpha plus cos beta whole square plus sin alpha minus sin beta whole square, which will give us cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus 2 cos alpha cos beta plus sin square alpha plus sin square beta minus 2 sin alpha sin beta. If you observe carefully, now cos square alpha plus sin square alpha is 1. Similarly, cos square beta plus sin square beta is 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So 2 plus, if I take 2 common in these two terms, 2 cos alpha cos beta and minus 2 sin alpha sin beta, then the value in the brackets will become cos alpha cos beta minus sin alpha sin beta, which all of us know is the expansion of cos alpha plus beta. Right? Now this is what in fact is equal to k square plus 1. Now, if I take 2 common, then I can write it as 2 into 1 plus cos alpha plus beta. Or rather, let me not take 2 as common. So I can say k square is equal to 2 minus 1, that is 1 plus 2 into cos alpha plus beta. So k is equal to, normally I would say plus or minus, but since I want the maximum value for k, I will consider only the positive root. 1 plus 2 cos alpha plus beta. Now, if I want k to be maximum, then cos alpha plus beta must also be maximum. Now, for any value of cos x, the maximum it can take is 1. Hence, it becomes square root of 1 plus 2 into 1, which is equal to root 3. Hence, the maximum value of sin alpha minus sin beta is nothing but root 3. Answer option B. Let's see the 21st question. Now, this is an interesting question that combines the concept of math and reasoning. In fact, this is a concept that we see very frequently in questions of direction sense. Anyways, so let us look at the information at hand. A person standing at the center of an open ground first walks 32 meters to the east. Now let us assume the person is standing here. Now he walks 32 meters east. And just for your reference, east, west, north, south. He takes a right turn and walks 16 meters. Takes another right turn, walks 8 meters. And so on, which means again he takes a right turn, now walks only 4 meters. Again a right turn, walks only 2 meters. Again a right turn, 1 meter. Again a right turn, 0.5 meters, and it goes on to infinity. Now, how far will the person be from the original starting point after an infinite number of such walks in the pattern? Now, the hint in this question is that when we have to find the sum of certain numbers which are infinite in value, so sum to infinite terms is possible for us to find out only if it's an infinite GP. So let us see how we can use this data to form the so-called infinite GP. And since I need to find by default the shortest distance from the starting point and the ending point, let us calculate what is the overall horizontal distance and overall vertical distance. Then we can calculate the effective distance by applying the Pythagoras rule to those two. Now, if I look at the horizontal distance covered, it is 32. And then I have 8 meters horizontal, but towards west. So which means reverse direction, -8. Now next to 2 meters towards east, so +2. Again, 0.5 in reverse direction, so on. Now, if you observe, this is a GP with the first term as 32 and the common ratio as -1/4. So sum to infinite terms is equal to a by 1 minus r, which is equal to 32 by 1 minus of -1/4. That becomes 32 by 1 plus 1/4. Now 32 into 4, which is 128 by 5. Now, if we look at the vertical distance traveled, downwards it is 16 meters, upwards it is 4, which means opposite direction, -4. Again, downwards it is 1 meter. Now upwards again will be 0.25 and so on. Now this is also a geometric progression with the first term as 16 and the common ratio as -1/4. Hence, sum of all the distances traveled vertically is equal to 16 by 1 minus of -1/4, which is 16 by 1 plus 1/4. That is equal to 64 by 5. Now, if I have traveled an overall horizontal distance of 128 by 5 and overall vertical distance of 64 by 5, then the shortest distance between the starting and ending points is nothing but the resultant of these two. So which is nothing but square root of (128 by 5) whole square plus 64 by 5 whole square. Now, if I take 64 by 5 whole square common, then it comes out of the root and becomes 64 by 5 into root of. Now, 128 can be written as 64 into 2. So there's a 2 square over there. So 4 plus 1, 5. So it is 64 into root 5 by 5, or the same can be written as 64 by root 5. Answer option C. Now let's look at the 22nd question. In a group of 120 students, 80 like science and the rest are from commerce, and it is known that 70 out of 120 students support Mumbai Indians team and the others support Chennai Super Kings. We need to find the number of science students who are supporters of Mumbai Indians is. Now, if you look at the answer options, we are trying to find the range of this number of students who are from science stream and support Mumbai Indians. So categorically, we need to classify 120 students into two types. Number one, based on the stream, and number two, based on the team they support. In such cases, it is always helpful if we try to represent this data in the form of a table. Now, science stream and commerce, let them represent row-wise. And then we have students supporting Mumbai Indians and Chennai Super Kings, and the number of such students represented vertically. Now it is given to us that the total number of students is 120. 80 are from science stream, which means the remaining 40 are from commerce. 70 students support Mumbai Indians, which means the remaining 50 support CSK. Now, we want the number of science students who support Mumbai Indians. Now, number of science students who support Mumbai Indians. Let us try to find the minimum and maximum. Now, if I want number of science students supporting Mumbai Indians to be minimum, then the number of commerce students supporting Mumbai Indians must be maximum. So I can say all 40 students who support Mumbai Indians are from commerce. But let's verify if this does not pose any problem to the other values. Then number of students from commerce who support CSK is 0, meaning number of students from science who support CSK is 50. Thereby, the number of students from science stream who support Mumbai Indians is a minimum of 30. Now, minimum of 30 exactly is same as option A, which says 30 or more. So I don't even have to calculate the maximum. With the minimum value alone, I am able to determine the right option as option A. Now, question number 23, an interesting one. It's a chess tournament with 5 contestants. Every player plays against all the others exactly once, which means the number of games that each player participates in is 4. The winner gets 1 point, the loser gets 0, and there is no draw. The moment in a tournament when it is mentioned that there are no draws, half the problem is solved, because the tournament problems involving possibility of certain matches ending up in a draw are slightly complicated. Now, every match gives me a result, either a win or a loss. Now, which of the following sequences cannot represent the scores of 5 players? Now, when I look at these values, just now we discussed that the maximum number of matches a player can play is 4, which means the maximum number of matches a player can win is 4. Now, suppose if the 5 players are A, B, C, D, E. Now, if let's say A has won all the 4 matches, so he has got 4 points. Now, if A has won all the matches, then the maximum number of matches any other player can win is 3, because he must have already lost 1 match to A. So there is a possibility of only 1 person ending the tournament with 4 points. Whereas in answer option B, it is showing that there are 2 players who ended up with 4 points. That's practically not possible. Hence, option B cannot be the scores of the 5 players at the end of the tournament. question number 24. This is undoubtedly the easiest question across the entire quantitative ability short answer and quantitative ability multiple choice question. The given equation represents what shape? Now it is very clear that it is similar to the general form of a circle, which is x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equal to 0. Hence, the answer will be straight away a circle. Nothing to solve. All that you need to be able to answer this question is the familiarity of the general form of the equation of a circle. That's all. Now let's look at the 25th question. Which of the following straight lines are both tangent to the circle x square plus y square minus 6x plus 4y minus 12 is equal to 0? Now, the center for the given circle is 3, minus 2. And the radius is square root of g square plus f square minus c, which is equal to square root of 9 plus 4 plus 12, that is 25. So we get the radius as 5. Now, if I draw a circle with center as 3, minus 2, and let's say this is one tangent and this is the other tangent that is parallel to it. Why did I say parallel? Is because if you look at the answer options, all the 4 options, each of them have a pair of lines which are parallel to each other. So which means we are talking about 2 tangents that are parallel to each other. Now, if I draw a perpendicular from the center onto the tangent, this length of the perpendicular must be equal to the radius, which is 5. So let me assume the equation of the tangent, either of the tangents, is 4x plus 3y plus k equal to 0. And the length of the perpendicular drawn onto this line from the center 3, minus 2 is equal to 5. Now we know how to calculate the perpendicular distance from a point to a line given. So the perpendicular distance 5 is equal to mod ax1 plus by1 plus c whole divided by a square plus b square. So I would get 5 into 5, 25 is equal to mod 6 plus k. So if I remove the modulus, I get k plus 6 is equal to plus or minus 25. So k is equal to 25 minus 6 or minus 25 minus 6. So the value of k is equal to 19 or minus 31. Hence, the equation of the tangent to the given circle that we are trying to find out is 4x plus 3y plus 19 is equal to 0 and 4x plus 3y minus 31 is equal to 0. Answer option C. We'll have to be very careful while solving this question, because if you observe the equation of the lines in all the 4 options is more or less same. It's only the constant values that keep differing. Now let's look at the set of logical reasoning problem that we have in the QA MCQ section. I would say it has been a tradition in IPM Indore over the last few years that in the MCQ section, there is a set of 5 questions which can be considered either as data interpretation or logical reasoning, or at times a combination of both. And this particular set of 5 questions, I would say, is a hidden gem. If you have done good amount of practice, or if you do good amount of practice, that will help you familiarize yourself with certain type of data interpretation and logical reasoning sets, and also get a know-how of how to solve them. Believe me, solving this set that has appeared in IPM Indore over the last few years is quite easy. Now, let me prove that point with the help of the set of questions we have here now. Now, the data given talks about certain drugs and certain organisms. Now, there's a pharmaceutical company which is testing the effect of 5 drugs A, B, C, D, E on 3 organisms P, Q, R. And there is some information given to us in the form of statements. Let's understand. The first statement says, each drug works on at least 1 organism, but not more than 2, which means row-wise, each drug should work with or should work on at least 1 and at most 2 organisms, which means every row must have either 1 or 2 ticks. Similarly, second statement, each organism can be treated with at least 2 and at most 3 of these 5 drugs, meaning vertically, if I take organism P, now it can be treated by at least 2 or at most 3 drugs. So which means in every column, either we should have 2 or 3 tick marks. On which organism A works, B also works. Okay, it is given that A works on R, which means B also works on R. And can I extend this? Any more conclusions I can make? Yes. Since B is working on Q and R, it will not work on P, because row wise, I should have either 1 tick or 2 ticks. Next one. Also, one more point here. If I look at organism P and drug A, what can I conclude? Does drug A work on organism P? No. You know why? If I say that A works on P, based on the condition we just learned, it must work on B also. Now, since we are saying it will not work on B, it means it cannot work on A. Next point. Similarly, on whichever organism C works, D also works. Now, C works on Q, which means D also works on Q. Now, if I look at organism Q, I already have 3 drugs working on it, B, C, D, and that's the maximum, which means drug A and drug E do not work on Q. Now, when we look at the last statement, it says D and E do not work on the same organism. Okay. Now, D and E do not work on the same organism. All right. Now, when I look at R, can I say R will work on C or C will work on R? No. Why? Because if I say C works on R, I will have to say D also works. Now, the problem is, in that case, there are 4 drugs which are showing an effect on R, but column wise, the maximum number of ticks I can have is only 3, which means the drug C does not work on R. Also, if I look at D and E, if it works on D, then it does not work on E. Or if it works on E, then it does not work on D. So which means it has to be on one of these 2 cases. So we will come back to that in a while. Now, when I look at organism P, now C must work, right? Now, if C works, then D must work. And D and E do not work on the same organism. Hence, E does not show any effect on P. Now, since every drug must work on at least one organism, it will help me determine that E works on R. And since E works on R, D cannot work on R. Now, before you conclude, one, cross-verify if all the statements are satisfied. And number two, also verify whether every row has either one or two ticks and every column has either two or three ticks. I understand that it will take a bit of time for you to do this, even if it takes 4 to 5 minutes and you are able to fill up the table properly. Believe me, guys, answering the 5 questions under this set together will not take more than a minute. Let me show you. So the answer for question number 26, drug D works on, as you can see in the table, it works only on P and Q. Answer option B. Now question number 27, organism P can be treated with. Now organism P can be treated with only C and D. Answer option D. Question number 28, organism R can be treated with A, B, and E. Again, answer option D. Question number 29, drug E works on only R. Answer option D. And the 5th question, the 30th question, the organisms that can be treated with 3 of these 5 drugs is R. Now, I have 2 organisms, both Q and R. R can be treated by 3 of the 5 drugs given. Hence, answer option A. Now, as you might have noticed, it has taken a couple of minutes for us to fill up the table. But once we are able to do it correctly, answering all the 5 questions under that, we have not taken more than a minute. So it is extremely important that we give due weightage to the topic of logical reasoning and invest some effort onto that, so that if we are able to solve this particular set in the exam, it helps you score almost 20 marks, which is halfway to the cutoff of the QA MCQ section.